Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino, and this is my newest segment of Markets Look Ahead. Glad to see all of you here. Let's talk what's going on with this market, where we are going, and what are other assets doing that we need to know about and take advantage of. Period. Okay, it doesn't get any more straightforward than that. So let's talk about this. So again, I always like to look back before I look forward. Let's talk about this market. On Friday marked 6 straight months of stock market gains. 6 straight months of gains. No pullbacks, no corrections. These things don't happen anymore. It's astonishing to me, really, how anyone, professional investor, trader, can sit back and look at this market and think that this is normal. This is not normal whatsoever. Generally, markets go up, markets come down, but not anymore. It's just kind of almost like a straight line higher. How many times have I showed you this? A random walk with an upward drift. Well, it seems like it's kind of an upward slope. I mean, do we from time to time get a couple 100-point sell-offs with regard to the Dow? Yes. What has happened every single time? Got bought up. And that mechanism, in my view, is going to continue. All right. Now, I want to talk about crypto. I want to talk about gold and silver as well. But let's stick to the stock market just real quick. Friday, okay, just this past Friday, there was a little bit of a fear trade going on here. What do I mean by that? Knee-jerk higher in the dollar, 10-year yield falling, despite the fact that crude oil continues to get bid up, okay? You need 3 things. People, pay attention to what I'm going to tell you here. The keys to this market lie in 3 things. 3. And that's all you got to look at. Let's cover that real quick, okay? The dollar or the Dixie index. The stock market wants a weaker dollar. Period. Number 2, the 10-year yield remaining stable, not making wild swings here. When you see the 10-year yield drop, okay, this means cash is making its way into the debt market. And that is a negative sign for the stock market. So right here, too, you want to see a weaker dollar. The market wants to see a weaker dollar. Do consumers want to see a weaker dollar? Absolutely not. It destroys your purchasing power. But the market is a separate entity. You have to understand that. It doesn't care about anything. It's a very non-feeling thing. Okay, so market wants that weaker dollar. You know that. Market wants a stable 10-year yield, and the market wants crude oil being bid higher. Those are the 3 keys here. With regard to earnings, forward guidance, PE ratios, whatever would be thought as fundamental factors of the market, they don't exist anymore. They don't matter anymore. Why? The central banks of the world, not just the Fed, they're all doing the same things for the most part at the same time. They're issuing debt through one door. They're buying it back through another door. This has inflated a bubble. It's beyond the bubble, people. We are beyond a bubble with regard to the debt market. It's a hyper bubble like we have never seen, ever. And this hyper bubble has inflated a stock market bubble, reinflated a housing bubble, caused, I'm just going to say it like I always do, distortions across the entire spectrum of asset classes on top of the rigging that's going on, especially with precious metals. Let's touch on gold and silver here. In this environment where we have literally historic inflation, we've never seen inflation rise at this pace ever. Well, what's going on with gold and silver? Yes, they've been putting on gains over the last several months, but these gains have been massively muted, and we know who's doing it, okay? This is the largest bank on the planet by assets. I'm referring to JP Morgan. Okay, it's other banks too, but JP Morgan holds the key here with regard to the suppression of gold and silver prices, for which they do this via the derivative. It's an incredible situation, and it drives me out of my mind how a physical asset can derive value from a derivative. It's supposed to be the opposite way. Well, this is how they rig the metals market. Crude oil. Okay, crude oil is the lifeblood of the military-industrial complex. You all know that if you've been following this blog. It's the key, another big key. It's one of the 3 keys to the market. Crude oil being propped up boosts the energy sector. Obviously, it makes sense, right? And it also boosts the financial sector because the investment banks, they are leveraged beyond their eyeballs, okay, in crude. So it helps the banks, okay, having crude propped up. And crude has no bearing on reality today whatsoever. What are we at, like $74 a barrel? People, the fair price for crude oil, look, I do research pretty much around the clock with regard to the market, commodities, everything to do with this market that you can imagine. In my view, crude should be less than $20 a barrel. So it's massively overvalued, but that does not mean it's not going much higher. Most Wall Street investment banks have a $100 price target on crude, and we're going to get there. There is just no doubt about it. Now, with regard to cryptocurrencies, people, look at what's going on here. A massive turnaround since the lows several weeks back here. I believe sincerely in my heart of hearts that Bitcoin will not only hit its recent all-time high, 62,000 and change. It's going higher than that, much higher than that too. And that's going to pull cryptos with it. You all know I am a major bull. And I've called the crypto space unbelievably accurately over time. It's very volatile. The space is not for everybody, period, the end. I mean, you have to have a risk tolerance that is pretty much off the Richter scale to be in that space. But again, look, I think you get it if you follow this blog here, what's going on, what you need to do here. And again, if you have to choose one asset and one only, it's physical silver, in my view. Always do your own research, people. And I'm going to say this again, too. Look up the Dow gold ratio, gold silver ratio. Do it right now. Open a new window, and you'll see why I've been explaining to you. Yet again, look, I know I'm pushing these points home repeatedly, but I want you on the right side of this entire hideous thing that's occurring around us. Because believe me on this one, people, I realize there's going to be a moment of reckoning. I speak about it all the time. The market is so distorted and twisted and fake. It's run amok here. It's a crime. It's a crime in progress, being fostered every day more and more by the Federal Reserve, whose balance sheet keeps hyper-ballooning. I told all of you, watch the Federal Reserve's balance sheet. The higher that goes, the higher the stock market's going to go. Maybe there's a fourth element that you should be following here, okay? The dollar or the Dixie, crude oil, and you can see all these things right on my website, traderschoice.net. It's all free. There's so much free stuff on my website for you. I hope you take advantage of it, okay? There is a link in the description of this video. So let's add a fourth element here. The dollar or the Dixie index. The 10-year yield is critical here. Crude oil and the Federal Reserve's balance sheet. You watch these things, you will know where the market's going to go to an extremely high degree of accuracy. You understand? That's all you need to do. That's really all you need to look at. You can ignore fundamental factors. For example, like PE ratios, forward guidance, earnings, don't matter. It's all about the Fed. The Fed's running the entire show. The Fed's running the entire world via the dollar being the world reserve currency. You understand? I think all of you got that. It's an epic, absolutely epic situation here. But I promise to keep all of you on top of this. There's no doubt about it. All my research and work that I do to keep myself on the right side of this, I share with all of you. And again, if you've been a follower of my work for X amount of time, you can say, wow, you know what? Greg's been pretty right on. Am I correct all the time? No. Am I correct most of the time? Absolutely. And I consider it a privilege to sit here and share all this stuff with you to keep you on the right side of this market. People, a big heads up here. Today is the 1st of the month. On the 1st of every month, I humbly ask you to support my work. If you think Greg is doing a good job, Greg is worth supporting, just send me $5. That's it, just $5. That's how you can support my work. There is a link in the description of this video. If you want to send me crypto, you know I love crypto. There's also a link to do that in the description of this video. I sincerely hope you choose to support my work. We're all in this together. I'm really trying to make a difference, and I need you. I need all of you to support my work. That's the truth. All right, people, love you a lot. I will see all of you in the morning, and we'll make more heads and tails of the Freak Show.